Hello and welcome everyone in another episode of Researcher Celebrity. And today we have our special researcher who is a celebrity not only in India or in United States, but in Saudi Arabia also. So Dr. Abhinav Kaushik, what we have today, and he has done his PhD from ICGEB, New Delhi, India. Then he moved to King's Abdullah University of Science and Technology in Saudi Arabia, followed which now presently he is in Stanford University in California. And thank you, Abhinav, for accepting our invitation and sharing your journey with the students. And over to you, Abhinav.
Thank you, Raja. Hi everyone. My name is Abhinav Kaushik, and so it's good to be in the meeting with or discussion with Empowering Science Foundation, and it's my pleasure to be here and discuss the various aspects of science and my career and what I see the future of science for the world. I would introduce myself first. I did my PhD back in 2017, and I completed my PhD. I'm a data scientist. I completed my PhD with Dr. Dinesh Gupta from ICGEB New Delhi, and my research topic was related to computational biology and discussing the various, completing the tasks that are related to data science, like creating system biology networks and analyzing gene expression data, developing softwares, developing tools to assist the biologist in their data analysis problems. Anything that is related to data analysis was my primary objective of the PhD. Not only just with respect to the system biology, I worked on protein science also, 3D structure modeling. And my work was not only limited to other than it also involved the developing statistical methods of workflows for analyzing the hardcore high throughput problems related to NGS. Then I moved to King's Abdullah University of Science and Technology in Saudi Arabia. It's one of the richest universities in the world. And it's not very old university, but it's actually considered as one of the most recognized, one of the most reputed universities in the world, because the faculties they recruited and the amount of money they have spent on research and the kind of facilities they are giving for the researchers. So I learned a lot in Saudi Arabia. I worked there for 1 year under Dr. Pine, and I published several articles over there, and then I moved to Stanford. Now here in Stanford, I'm working for last 4 years, and I'm currently working with Professor Kari Nadu at Sean and Parker Center for Allergies and Asthma. My work here is again the same analysis of high throughput data sets, but now I'm more shifted towards immunology. So for the last 4 years, my work is limited to the immunological side of the data science, not just related to just gene expression, but various kind of data sets, right from single cell analysis to imaging data analysis to ultrasound data analysis to various aspects of it. So I would say that each and every stage of my life, I learned a different forms of data science. But yeah, this has been a journey starting from the protein science now to the immunology, in which I'm actually trying to understand what's the immunological changes that basically governs the response of a human body in response to the allergens, in response to the pathogens. So that's what I'm trying to understand in my current job. But everything is related to the computational side, and my primary work involves the analysis of data only. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Abhinav. And for our audience, I would just mention that this is just the tip of iceberg, which just Abhinav just said. Now we'll try to see a larger picture of this. Okay, so Abhinav, you explained from your PhD till your journey present till the date where you are working presently. Let's take some steps back and then when was the first time when you thought that you will pursue a PhD?
Okay, so that's a very difficult question, and I think it was not in 1 or 2 that I made this decision. So it was like I saw several people doing their PhD. I felt motivated at that time, but then there was problems. You have to be very motivated to pursue PhD. It's not, and especially when you have funding crunches, when you have fellowship issues, it's not an easy thing to pursue it. PhD in anywhere in the world. I would not just say India. It's a problem in US also. It's the same problem in India or Europe also. So I did my master's internship from IBAB, Institute of Biotechnology and Applied Bioinformatics. And IBAB Bangalore has a group under Dr. Kshitij Acharya. I was working over there, and it was a great experience because I was just a beginner. I was just completing my master's. I went outside and saw the real world problem, people solving the real problem for the first time in my life. And there were several PhD students and non-PhD students working on different problems. And looking at those people solving the problems which affects the broad range of people worldwide, actually felt motivated. I developed some software, and that's when the first time I got connected with the scientist. Like I felt myself as a scientist. It's not just that I'm a student. I felt myself contributing something to someone. And when my mentors like Kshitij Acharya, they motivated me. They felt they felt happy looking at my the product I delivered. So that was the first time I felt motivated. And then I decided. Then I talked to different scientists for short-term positions in IBAB, ICGB, and NIIs, IITs. I talked to different scientists over there. And one thing I realized while talking to them, that there are two aspects of the career. One is getting the money, and the other is making a stable career. And after talking every one of them, all the scientists have realized that making a stable career requires PhD. And I was no longer at that time, I was not in a position to move abroad. I prepare for GRE, I prepare myself for short-term position and then wait something to happen so that I go abroad and do my PhD. I decided, okay, I think it's much easier and much more sophisticated for me and my family that I prepare for CSIR, get the fellowship, and then get myself registered for the PhD. So that's when so it's I think it's the evolution of thoughts that made me choose the PhD rather than just I saw someone and felt motivated. It's not like it's just it's a journey, I should say. And it took me around 1.5 years to make that decision finally that I want to do my PhD.
That's nicely answered, and the way you put the words in the sentences, like I think everyone should just listen what just Abhinav just told, that it was not one day, it was 1.5 years when he was like checking his commitments, checking that, okay, what all it requires to do this. And then once he found that this is what it takes, this is what he have, he just committed himself for the PhD. And now, and how we see this as, for us, you are a researcher celebrity, obviously. And now that 1.5 year shaped your entire life, if I can say that now you feel proud about being a scientist, and then now you lead the researchers from the front by telling them that, okay, because this is very important. Sometimes people just commit to PhD just because of either fellowship or because, as you mentioned, their friends or seniors are doing, so they just enter in there without having their own questions. And sometimes some of them struggle because of that reason also. So that was a good one. Now let's see that what you mentioned about that it was not that easy to pursue, a PhD outside. And then you, after doing all the SWOT analysis, you thought that in India is a better choice for pursuing a PhD. So when you interact with your, like the researchers, from India now presently. And how do you see that, how important for them it is doing PhD from India or PhD from abroad?
I think it's completely the skill set you want to build. I would say it's always depend upon. So first of all, you make commitments if you want to. So the geographical location is always the big difficult choice, but it's one of the most important commitment you make to yourself. If you want to go abroad, then you don't do PhD. Then you don't try to do PhD in India because it takes equal amount of efforts. Uh, as a human being, it's very difficult to make 200% commitments. You can only make one commitment. And if you want to go, even like if you want to go to Europe or US, it's a different form of commitments because you have to prepare for GRE, you have to prepare for. But in any case, what you can do, you can work on your skill set first before you enter into the PhD. In any case, the skill set is the most important thing. That's when you know yourself what your interests really are. Without knowing your interest, you cannot enter the PhD. And I think as a junior, if I go back, if given a chance, if I get a time machine, I go back. And fortunately for me, my skill set was bioinformatics, and in bioinformatics is much more easier to evolve. It's much more easier to improvise, learn, because of the informations are very easily available on internet. All you need is a computer. But in other fields, whether you're working in geography, whether you're working in like wet lab, or you're working on some astrophysics or any field, it's not easy to develop the skills. It's not easy to evolve. So I think the idea before doing the PhD is first to get the skill set and know your really interest are, and then based on that, choose the institute or the supervisor, and then make the decision about the geographical location. But once you make the geographical decision about the geographical location, there's no turning back. Then you keep on trying. It might take 6 months, it might take a year, it might take in 2 years. But it's but this is it is what it is. That's why it's difficult. That's how you learn the patience, that's how you learn the perseverance, that's how you learn the idea of the essence of PhD.
That's a very interesting question. So now I will drive it towards, you mentioned patience about in PhD. Yeah. You mentioned commitment before doing it. So when you were clear in your journey, you think it through, you took your time when you were committed, and then from then during the PhD years, how you felt when something is not going the way you planned?
Oh yeah, that happens every other year. even now, right now, I feel that things are not going in my favor. So I think that's not this question is not completely relevant only from the PhD point of view. This relevant from every career, because every career requires growth, every career requires hard work, and sometimes the output of the hard work is not dependent just on your own efforts. It also depended upon how others take it, like how others basically receive it from their end. And it's a difficult decision. I mean, it's a difficult choice always. But for my case, in my PhD, I felt that I should quit the PhD several times in my life, especially during the early stages when you are below 25 years of age, when you are below 20 years of age. You can go to the bank, you can go to several things. Your career options are like open all like everywhere. Uh, but then then that's when your research interest basically, or your skill set comes into play, because you know what your really research interests are. You know what you are doing and why you are doing, and you know why you have all started. Like that's your first question. Like, and this is the thing that hold you back. This is the thing that keeps you, because it's not like it's only PhD where you face the problem. You might face the problem anywhere in any field. So why not PhD? So it's everywhere. I think it's the question why you have started. That is all that matters eventually.
That's Fantastically answered. So now when you said that you felt many times that, okay, you want to quit it. And then you said that, okay, why I started, that's the question. So when you have all these things going on here in your head, and then seeing that some of your friends are actually doing what you are thinking, or because of why you were getting distracted, and then now when you have that badge, that you are a PhD, you are exploring the world, be it in Saudi Arabia or now in USA, and now you are still the peers which you were distracted at some point of time, your friends, they are still doing the same job. How do you feel about that?
I feel good for them. I mean, everybody is like have ups and downs in their career. I mean, with maturity, the only thing you realize is that you are know your own. Like there is no competition. Competition is just a myth. So eventually, when you grow up, when you develop your skill set, when you choose your own problems, when you choose your own objectives, I think you are, in terms of happiness, in terms of career growth, you are all alone. So when I see my friends growing up, when I see my friends making progress and enjoying their life, I think I feel happy, I feel motivated. Sometimes I take the ideas and do the same things. And I think it's good that my friends are happy, because if they are not happy, how can I be happy?
Nice.
Eventually, you need to have a happy friends around you to be happy. First of all, a demotivated, depressed friends is not good.
Okay, but
Yeah.
whatever I know about Abhinav, he is the person who cannot leave you, no matter how depressed you are. He'll keep your horses up and then make you run faster than them, for sure. So Abhinav, let's take how much a toll it takes for a family to have a PhD student and a researcher in the family.
Oh, it takes long. I think I all credit goes to my mother. So she I think she's the one who I mean, I never faced a family issue because of my PhD. Although there was some issues from my neighbors and from my relatives, but I think she handled it very well. I think having a supportive family is a blessing. Even now, she's very supportive, and I think without the contribution of the family, it's impossible, because they are the one that that actually enjoys with your success,
Mhm,
most of the time more than you.
mhm.
They are the one who feel motivated. um, and sometimes, when you yourself feel demotivated, they are the one who can guide you, because they are in a normal state than you, so they can give the better advice. They can calm you down than anyone else. And also, like, having a supportive family anyways, it's good to change your mind and skip things which are going on in your professional world. So I think, but for my case, yeah, but I have seen families that are not really, who don't understand the what it takes to do a PhD, why we work overnight, why we work, why we have to stay in the lab, and whom exactly we're working for. That is something it takes. When we say like I'm working for myself, like it doesn't make sense to everyone in the world. So it takes a lot of maturity and understanding to understand that it's a lot of belief, trust on your own children, that whatever he or she is doing is good for the growth. It's for his or her career growth. So yeah, I mean, family is an important thing.
Nice. So you touched upon friends and family. Now let's see what are the points which are crucial while deciding a mentor or a supervisor for your PhD.
I was fortunate to have a very good mentors during my entire career. My PhD supervisors were Dr. Dinesh Gupta and Professor Shakir Ali. And then my Saudi Arabia supervisor, Professor of mine, and then Professor Karina do here in Stanford. So starting with Dr. Dinesh Gupta, he has been instrumental in shaping up my career. First of all, um, he has helped me a lot. I think the first criteria of choosing a supervisor, in my experience, there is no one single criteria. First of all, because people are dynamic, people are not static. People change. They just like us. PIs also evolve. You know, they change their behavior, they change their attitude towards the student. So it's always a difficult choice, but the easiest choice I would say is to look into their publication status, because you might leave the PI after 3 years or 4 or 5 years, but your publication record will be with you forever. So publication record is an important thing. Even if the PI is a very new and recently joined, there is always a publication status associated with that PI. So publication status is something that gives you how diverse publications are. It's just not like only the PI in during the entire career, PI has chosen only one particular problem. And then, and second thing, other than publication, is how grateful the PI is to his or her student. Um, I would say the trick here is, it's a very random trick, but always worked for me. I always look for the first authorship or the second authorship of the immediate students of the PI in the recent publications. That gives me a source of encouragement that, okay, his own students, not just the collaborator students, his own students are also getting good publications.
Nice.
And that really helps me in choosing a good PI, because good PI, the idea of good PI is that good PI, you can argue with your PI. That doesn't qualify as a good or bad PI. The a, a good PI can be loud, a good PI can be argumentative, but the only criteria that makes a good PI is that he or she will take a stand when you need it. And when I say stand, the first thing or the only thing you can look for is, there are several occasions in which the PI would take a stand, but publication is the first thing that is documented, that okay, that PI has taken a stand. If you're getting first authorship in most of your publication, or co-shared first authorship, especially in the collaborative papers, that's when you understand, okay, PI is supportive. PI knows, okay, my student also should get the credit for his or her work. And that's how actually, that's just a random trick. I might be wrong here, but it can help you in choosing up your PI, especially the senior PI, because it's very difficult, especially with the senior PI, they speak very less. So it's very difficult for. And also the third thing, when you talk to them, they're always responsive. The good PI is always responsive. Even they acknowledge it, like my PI is currently super busy. Like most of the time she's abroad, she's traveling all the time. But for even like smallest of my tinies of my email, she would reply. She will acknowledge that I have received your email. Even if she has to reply after 2 hours or 3 or 4 hours because of time difference, or maybe 10 hours, she would always acknowledge my mail. And that's basically some of the characteristics of the good PI, that they would take your stand no matter what. They would reply to your email as soon as possible, and they will be respectful for you, no matter what. Even in the arguments, they would be respectful for you. So that's I think that's and sometimes it's always difficult until you work with that PI. Most of the things is very difficult, but these are the things you can know beforehand, before you even join the PI. Of course, talking to the students, and then it really helps, but you don't always have the access of talking to the students. But writing up an email and then checking up the publication status, and then all of these things can be done even without involving anyone else in the picture. So that's I actually choose all of this when I have to choose good PI or bad PI.
Now, I think the way you have put, in fact, I never thought, and I have not met many researchers either they are researcher celebrities or not, or they are just doing, research. And when I say that for us, all the researchers are researcher celebrities, when I said they are or not means have I interviewed them or not. So not many of the researchers have this clear picture of a good mentor and how the way you should look at. And I am 100% sure about this, that the word of your wisdom, because now this is a wisdom, a person who wants to pursue a career and who want to be a researcher for their lifetime. These are the key points which they should be starting with. And they can use them as the milestones as they progress in their career. Speaking of which, I will say that you say that, okay, now you are happy and you call yourself as a scientist, but because you do some translational study, how that affect your science, that when you're working on a data set, which is like where it has a transformational value, that, okay, whatever you will do will be, affecting a person or a group of person. And when you know that you are doing some data mining and then this is like years of work, how these two situations are different.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So I have worked on both the, like my current job is completely translational. My boss is a physician. So whatever we do, whatever she thinks, she directly thinks from the patient point of view. She's not really into the basic science. She's more into the translational science. How we can benefit the patients directly, like how our research can be directly applied to the patient, because she is a physician. She thinks in this way, and that's, I think, one of the best way of doing the science. But the second thing is, when we do the basic science, when we do something which is not directly affecting the broad range of people directly, for example, developing an algorithm, developing a software, and that can be understood only by bioinformaticians, and that too has a very small number. So, but it's always even like, that's what I think. Like that's what, even like I can give you an example with one of the comments from one of my papers review, that one of the reviewers said that we are afraid that this might not be relevant from the broad range of people, that might not be relevant for the broad range of biologists in the community, what you're doing. And in response to that, of course they rejected the paper, but what I would have written in response to that is that even if it is helping one single scientist in the world, that is good enough, because that's what we are here for.
Absolutely.
We are not here for, we are not here to solve all the problems of the world. We are here to solve one single problem at a time.
Absolutely.
And that's what the motivation is. Like, you have a problem that might affect one single person in the world, and we are solving that problem for that unknown person. If that is your objective, then and then I think you're good to go.
Nice. Great. So as you said, that paper got rejected, and this was, according to me, this was not a very, generous or very intelligent reviewer. Like, I might be wrong here, but when you see that you have put in so much of hard work to do all the work which it takes, then write-up itself is a big thing. To write a manuscript, then can communicate. And when you get, sometimes, like most of the time, what I will say, the reviewers are very, positive. They appreciate your work. But rarest of the rare, when you see these comments, how do you feel at that point of time?
Initially, I used to feel so. So here is the thing. My first paper got very good comments. There were two reviewers. Both of them said there was no single comment from both of the reviewers, and there was some couple of minor comments from the literature point of view. But I felt so motivated after my first paper. Second paper, and I thought that, oh, okay, this is very easy. Like, we can do it all day long. But eventually, after my second paper, it took us like 3 different journals. It got rejected several times. Then I realized how hard can be to convince reviewers. And eventually it was accepted after 1.5 years of struggle, uh, after resolving all the issues which reviewer has said. And but initially I used to feel very bad. I used to be so aggressive about my response. But then eventually I realized, after getting into the other side, like when I became a reviewer, I see things from the, I'm actually on both the sides at the same time. When I do my work, I start criticizing from the day one. Fortunately, I had a supervisor when I joined the Stanford, Dr. Sandra and Raw. She was the most critical person I ever met. She would criticize. She would just discard her own work any day. She's that critical. I learned the art of criticism from her like few years back. And when I realized, when I'm on the both sides, and when I'm working, appreciating my work, at the same time I'm criticizing my work. And that's where, like, that's what I'm saying, that mentors can be argumentative. At the same, good PI can be argumentative, because Sandra was super argumentative. She would give you a most absurd argument, at the same time most beautiful argument at the same time. And she can fight for it. Even if she knows she is wrong, she will fight for it. But she was a commendable PI. The reason being, you learn a lot. She was always respectful, even while fighting. So we actually used to enjoy this kind of computational work together, something that is non-traditional, and we used to have a lot of arguments. But eventually, those arguments helped me in shaping up my work. So when a reviewer gives me a comment which is critical, I actually enjoy it now more than I used to enjoy it before, because now the person is doing free of cost the same thing which I'm doing, and I'm putting all the efforts into it.
Nice.
So now I enjoy all the criticism, and I see things from their perspective also. And I always act as a reviewer for my paper first before I send it to for the publication. But if somebody else can criticize it even after reviewing, it means I've learned something new now.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this is the best way you can say that the evolution, as an author, you evolve when you are reviewing also. That was beautifully said. Nice. So now we are towards the end of our interview. We discussed about science, we discussed about family, friends. What an individual can have, like, how important is a hobby when family and friends are not around and you are a researcher?
Oh, that's very important. So I have a hobby. I go for a motorcycle ride. I go for hiking. I used to play badminton before COVID. Now after COVID, a lot of facility was shut down, so I couldn't play badminton for a very long time. But I used to play badminton a lot before. So it's always the best ideas you can generate only when you're not working. So that's you can do all the work in your lab, in your home. It's never ending. It's like work is, you cannot finish the work. First of all, that should be the thought that should be there in your mind all the time. You cannot finish the work. There is no end to it. And so when you're not working, when you're doing your hobby, when you're enjoying the things, you're actually giving a space. You're making your mind available for the things that requires your attention, for the things that requires 100% of your attention.
Nice.
So if you keep yourself engaged all the time, then your mind is full, 100% full all the time. Then there's no space of ideas.
Absolutely.
So you need to skip your work for sure, no matter what. Even if your hobby is walking, if your hobby is meditation, if your hobby is reading, you should give space to your professional life by not working.
Nice, absolutely, well said. So Abhinav, like taking this forward, I welcome all our audience and viewers. They can either directly contact Dr. Abhinav he is all over the net. You can easily find him, or you can contact us and then we can put you in touch. So Dr. Abhinav, less than 30 seconds now to wrap it up, your word of wisdom for all the viewers.
Stay there.
Well said.
Only.
Thank you very much, Abhinav, for spending time with us and sharing your experience. I'm sure people will get benefited with this, and then you will be getting more and more contacts contacted by them, and then you can be more helpful in shaping their career also. Good luck for your future. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Raja. Thank you.